Pieray, a Minecraft server's biggest culprit of false bans. How does this delicious little pie on the corner of your screen get you banned from PurityVanilla? Apparently, it's a waste of staff's time. People have been falsely banned, and it's a debug feature, are all the excuses that Penguin, the server owner, posted the other day. For those of you who aren't familiar with Pieray, it's a feature the game offers when you press Shift and F3 at the same time, where you get this neat pie chart called Debug chart, or as speedrunners and base hunters call it, pieray. You can tune this pie chart to show you block entities that are nearby. Things like enchant tables, ender chests, and even shulker boxes show up on Pieray. So yeah, this vanilla feature of pressing Shift and F3 to see the debug chart, better known as Pieray, is now bannable on PurityVanilla. But did you know that when you press just F3, that's called the debug screen, and it lets you see your chords and FPS and oh, what's this? Loaded entities? So what? Is that next? Because the hint is in the name, debug chart, debug screen? Oh right, maybe it's the word chart because charts are illegal now. I guess if false bans are a waste of staff's time, the simple math that is required to narrow down the exact chunk for Pieray is also too much for the smart staff to figure out. Better yet, the simple idea of requiring proof, you know, like a video or something, to fight the false ban for X-ray. Oh, and while you're getting rid of vanilla features, let's just get rid of the phantoms already. Or better yet, the creepers, since they were accidentally coded into the game.
Well, I mean, the creepers were a mistake. I defined I don't have any modeling programs to do the models, I just write them in code. And I accidentally made them tall instead of log, so it was like a tall thing with 4 little feet. And that became the creeper. It was supposed to be a pig.
Or ban crystals from the use in PvP.
2B2T player Bubba J began to experiment with end crystals. During the 4th incursion, he ignited one as a joke, and it ended up accidentally killing several of us at once with no warning. While it was hilarious at the time, this stunt caught on camera is what would begin the evolution of the crystal meta still seen to this day.
The developers didn't intend for them to be used in PvP. Why stop at just Pieray? After all, we want this to be the server that features large-scale vanilla Minecraft as the developers intended, right? If that were the case, where's the vanilla world border? 2 million by 2 million isn't very large-scale or vanilla. Where's the vanilla mob AI? Spawner mobs don't attack players and villager AI doesn't work under 18 TPS. Where's the vanilla mob spawning? For hard mode, PurityVanilla is pretty easy. It's on your fucking website, Purity. For fuck's sake, it's even in your name. PurityVanilla, like pure vanilla, no mods vanilla. But let's take a look here. Oh, what do you know? PurityVanilla does allow mods. 131 of them. Most of these won't do much harm, if any, but others could potentially do harm. Bad Lion and Lunar Client with free look, replay mod to view underground, world downloader to view the world in spectator mode. Now, I know what you're thinking. You can't use these as a way to prove you found a base. Shh, I'll explain a little later, but please, just listen. If the staff feels that false bans in Pieray are a waste of their time, this is how we can fix this. From my understanding, the server has a plugin that allows staff to view a log of any block any player interacts with. Whether it's by mining it, placing it, blowing it up with TNT, moving it with pistons, even loading it while traveling. Some of these plugins that allow servers to do this are LogBlock, BlockLog, and Core Protect. So knowing this info, how can we prevent false bans? For starters, staff can require video proof that the base was discovered using Pieray. If a player is using Pieray and not any other methods, the video should be able to show that. Staff can then review the video and review the block logs. If the block logs say the player was there once and the video checks out, the player should be unbanned as they were able to verify that the method was Pieray. But if a player uses ESP to find a base but doesn't dig down into it, but saves the coordinates and then comes back in a few minutes or even a few weeks later, records themselves finding the base using Pieray, staff would still see a log of that player being there before. The player would still have to prove to staff why why they were there before. Can't provide proof, the ban remains. Okay, what if you're just using pieray, right? Like, you fly over 69,420, nothing pops up, but a month later you fly over 69,420 and an e-chest and enchant table show up. Staff would be able to see that you've been there before, but can also check the blocks the base is made out of to see when it was built. If the base was built after your original search, and this is the first time you loaded in that base, you would still only need to provide footage for the one time that you loaded in that base, which was with pieray, giving staff the proof needed to unban you. Now, I know it's not very practical for most players to record everything they do. Trust me, I know video files take up a lot of space. There's plenty of software you could use to record your screen, and most of them are free. There's OBS, Shadowplay, Windows Game Bar. Those are the better ones, but a quick Google search can find you at least 20. And if you're that concerned over storage space, Shadowplay does allow you to record the last 5 to 20 minutes on screen with a click of a button. Even if you don't want to record base hunting, if you find a base, just click the button that saves your last 15 minutes or so, and there you go. There's your proof to staff. Anyone who's using pieray without ESP or X-ray or other hacks should have no issues providing proof of them using legitimate methods if that's how they legitimately found the base. If there are any complications, it's very possible that the player is simply lying and use hacks to find the base, as is just saying they found it with pieray. Sure, it could always be a technical glitch. I've had video files that started the recording too late and it glitched the first minute of footage. Shit happens. But at the end of the day, using pieray does look like X-ray. And if the staff feels they should ban because it looks like X-ray, that's fine. As long as the player can provide proof that pieray or other legit base hunting methods were used and not hacks or illegitimate methods. Or does the staff not want to sit there and watch videos of people providing their innocence? Is that a waste of staff's time to verify a ban? Players don't even need to provide that long of a clip either. A minute or two is plenty. So why is PurityVanilla banning pieray? Because the staff team seems fucking lazy. Now, don't get me wrong, the staff here do a good job most of the time, besides when it comes to banning Frost and watching videos that prove player innocence and being too lazy to understand or learn pieray. But you can learn a lot from a player just by spectating them. While spectating a player, staff should be observing them, and pieray is actually pretty easy to detect. The staff just need to know what to look out for. I've been very hesitant to release my technical use of pieray, as it would allow everyone to know the simple math needed to find the exact chunk the entities are shown on pieray are in, but at the same time, players can also defend themselves against pieray. They can press Shift F3 on their own, navigate the tick, level, block entities, and then make sure their base doesn't show up on pieray. But depending on the version of Minecraft you play, here is everything that shows on pieray for almost every version on screen. As long as these items are not placed down or activated in the case of a piston, your base will not show up on pieray. Want to know something funny though? If someone is using ESP, that isn't the case. You as a player cannot protect yourself from this. You can also not protect yourself from another player using replay mod or world downloader exploring the underground. Why? ESP will highlight any chest or other items the hacker chooses, and the other modifications that Purity allows would allow a player to freely look underground to discover things that they normally wouldn't be able to, additionally offline without those mods. Now, don't tell me that you can't use these methods to find bases as a valid excuse, because that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a cheater will use these methods regardless of its legality on the server and try to justify their actions with a legal method, for example, pieray. Now, on PurityVanilla though, players can no longer justify cheating with pieray, but will have to find other methods to justify their illegal actions. I know Frost answer is the Moss exploit. Video on that soon. Besides staff laziness, pieray is also banned because of its official name, the Debug chart. Penguin, PurityVanilla's owner, thinks the word debug is only for developers. So why do you still allow the F3 menu, Penguin? After all, its official name is the debug screen. But how would players know what their chords are? Well, you allow mods on the server that could serve that purpose. There's custom HUD, zeros, minimap, etc. Also, I bet you didn't know that you can use just the F3 screen to find bases using entities, just like you can with Shift F3. On the F3 screen, when you see the E followed by some other stuff, you're just looking for the first number, the fraction. The number on the left is is rendered entities, the number on the right is total entities. While traveling on PurityVanilla, the number on the right barely goes above 30. So anything that is 40 to 50 or higher, it is safe to assume there's a small base underneath. The bigger the number, the bigger the base usually. So is the F3 screen being banned then too, Penguin? Since this method would also look like ESP or X-ray? Or are you missing the point of the debug features developers provide to the players? If debug was meant to be developer only, then we wouldn't be able to see our coordinates or FPS or entities in the first place. But the developers give players some debug features, probably very limited to what they have, in order to help them out in the game. Pieray is just a metal detector that other players can protect themselves from. It's built into the game and there is a defense, and it's a vanilla feature. If you still don't believe me, download version 1.0.0 of Minecraft. What's this? Holy shit, it's fucking Pieray. This has been a feature in the game for over 10 years, and the fakest Anarchy server in Minecraft decided to ban it. It seems ridiculous that a server that brags about its vanilla experience doesn't even allow vanilla features, and part of their argument is it isn't an intended feature. Okay, so please explain creepers.
Creepers were a mistake.
Or explain the use of crystals in PvP. I'm sure the developers are fully aware of Pieray. After all, they made the game. They even removed some entities that show up from the list in 1.17. Things removed are furnaces, hoppers, brewing stands, and other job blocks. So how is that not so obvious to Penguin? As mentioned before, you can protect yourself against Pieray, and the only effect Pieray has is staff being too lazy to do their volunteer job. Again, as mentioned before, there is a line on their website and the rules that say if it looks like X-ray, we'll treat it as such. Fine, slam down the ban hammer, but let the players show you actual proof in video form. This way you don't need to do your job and just let the player base do it for you regarding this whole thing. But what do I know? That a vanilla feature that lets you find bases is banned on a vanilla Anarchy server that brags about being so vanilla and community driven? Right. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and ban me from PurityVanilla for not breaking any rules. I'm just kidding, PurityVanilla. You know I love you.